The big head-scratching selections that need to be made for the British and Irish Lions before their first test versus the Wallabies this weekend is in the back row and in the centres. So much quality across the board. Everyone in those positions putting up both their hands to play in Test week. Who will make the cut? Before we get into it, let me know in the comments, what would your British and Irish Lions team look like this week for the first test? Who you bringing in? Who you letting out? This is my predicted squad to take on the Wallabies this weekend. This is not what I think Andy Farrell is going to pick. This is what I would pick. And it'll be pretty close, I'm telling you now. But as always, let me know in the comments, what changes would you make? Who would you bring in? Who would you leave out? Why would you bring someone in? Why would you leave someone else out? Hit that subscribe if you haven't already. Let's get into it. Okay, so like I said, some big decisions need to be made this week from Andy Farrell, but I'm going to make it a bit easier for him because there's some inside word that he watches Kick On Rugby YouTube. Take that with a pinch of salt, or believe that or not. I would if I was him, because this is where you get all your info from, man, because it's just knowledge, rugby knowledge, and some more rugby knowledge. We're going to get into it, and I'm just going to, straight into it. Like I said, my big selection head scratches are in the back row and in the centre pairing, right? And like I said as well, this is the team that I would pick and not a team I think Andy Farrell's going to pick, although it's going to be very, very close, I think so. My predicted British and Irish Lions team to take on the Wallabies: Ellis Genge, Dan Sheehan and Will Stewart up front, then Maro Toja and Joe McCarthy in locks. Back row of Henry Pollock, Jack Morgan and Jack Conan. Then Jamison Gibson-Park and Finn Russell, 9 and 10. We've got Sione Tuipulotu and Hugh Jones in the centres, and then back three of James Lowe, Tommy Freeman and Hugo Keenan. Then on the bench, we've got Ronan Callagher, Andrew Porter, Tide Furlong, Tide Byrne, Tom Curry, Josh van der Fleer, Alex Mitchell and Marcus Smith. As you can see, gone for a little 6-2 split there. Again, I don't think, this is definitely my predicted team. I don't think Andy Farrell's going to go with a 6-2 split at all. But if I was the coach, that's definitely what I would do. And I'll give you the reasoning for it in a minute. But as always, what changes would you make? Who would you bring in? Who would you leave out? Do I know anything about British and Irish Lions rugby? Let me know in the comments. I want to hear from you. Okay, some of the reasons why. Up front, so the front row, we've got Ellis Genge, Will Stewart, and Dan Sheehan. Yes, I've left Andrew Porter out. I think on this tour, I'm not going off what's happened previously leading up to the tour. I'm going off what's happened on this tour, and I think Ellis Genge has been sensational. Strong scrummaging. He's been dominating scrums and what he's been doing around the park. So he's carrying the ball, getting over that vantage line, get through a ton of work. And yes, I know Andrew Porter gets through a ton of work as well. I've just feel like I've noticed Ellis Genge a lot more on this tour. Could be wrong there, but I've gone with him there. And then I've gone with his English partner to help him out, to back him up there, Will Stewart. Scrumming is their strong point, and that's something that they would want to gain ascendancy on over the Wallabies. Wallabies have also got a pretty strong scrum. British and Irish Lions have been really dominant with their scrum, so that's definitely something that they will look to dominate in this game, and I think Ellis Genge and Will Stewart combined will make that happen. Dan Sheehan goes without saying. I've got Ronan Callagher on the bench, covering hooker. You've obviously had guys that have fallen. Luke Kawandiki, bad head knocks. So Jamie George has come in. I wouldn't throw those guys straight in. I've gone with Dan Sheehan and then Andrew Callagher to back him up. And then Andrew Porter, all Irish front row to back them up. So Callagher, Porter and Tide Furlong. Furlong, that the games that the minutes that he's played, he's also stood out to me as well, mainly around his ball carrying. For an older guy and a bigger guy, gets around the park, man. I will give that to Tide Furlong. Has had some injury issues over the past 12, 18 months, but has been unreal every time he gets an opportunity. So I've gone with that front row. Again, it's always open for discussion. No one is necessarily right over someone else. Give me reasons why you would change people out. Then my locks. Maro Itoje and Joe McCarthy. Obviously, Itoje captain, goes without saying. He's in there. He's leading the team. He's your man. Joe McCarthy has been sensational on this tour. Gets through a ton of work. Obviously does everything he needs to do as a lock. So really good in the lineouts and then giving you that front foot ball when carrying the ball. But I've just loved like everything else he's been doing. So hitting a lot of rucks, making a lot of tackles, and just being everywhere on the park. Being busy, but being good busy, if that makes sense. And also brings in that like physicality and force, because you're coming up against an Australian side that are big, physical, and you want to match fire. You want to fire with fire. If there's a snake hole there, you're not sending a rat down that. You're sending another snake down there to match it. So Joe McCarthy is your man for that, for sure. Reserve lock, so Tide Burn is my reserve lock. I just think Joe McCarthy gives you a bit more physicality. Then Tide Burn is there who can cover back row and then lock as well. Ollie Chesham, probably unlucky to miss out. He was been fantastic. His opportunities he's got, but I've gone with that. Right, a big head-scratching dilemma for selections is the back row. So I've gone with Henry Pollock, Jack Morgan, Jack Conan. Again, give me reasons why you would change people out. Yes, I've got Tom Curry and Josh van der Fleer on the bench. I think Henry Pollock, what he's given the British and Irish Lions with regards to attack, sensational. It's like having another centre out on the field. It gives you that bit of X factor, but he also does everything else that needs to be done as a flank. He's getting in and disrupting rucks. Probably can be a bit better defensively, but he's getting through a ton of work. Watch when kicks are put through. He's always one of the first ones to be there to apply pressure, or if a line break is made, he's one of the first ones to be there to support. So I've got Henry Pollock in there. Then Jack Morgan, been one of Lions' best on the tour so far. Try and move him off the ball. Try and tackle him when he's carrying. Try and run through him when he's defending. Outstanding. He's in there. He's obviously, after Itoje, he's one of my first picked for sure. Then Jack Conan gives you that extra oomph when carrying the ball. Also another line-out option. And just brings that physicality. He's also got that leadership in him as well. Then you've got Tom Curry and Van der Fleer to come off the bench later. That's dogs coming on later on the field. I can even see Josh van der Fleer maybe starting and the Henry Pollock coming on later. That's definitely something I could see as well. But I would love a 6-2 split. And I'll explain in the backs how I could make that happen. Okay, my 9 and 10. Jamison Gibson Park, Finn Russell. Finn Russell's definitely he's playing 10. When he's played, ball in two hands, flat at the line, options either side, he's been unreal, and they've been playing really well off the back of that. And you've got someone like Jamison Gibson Park, who's one of the best 9s in the world, especially when you're getting front foot ball, and he can just get that ball off the ruck, his decision-making off that, and then his execution as well to a T, and he's got a really strong box kick. And that helps definitely how British and Irish Lions play, especially with the contestable kicks. That will come into play massively as well. Then my centres, the second head-scratching selection dilemma. I've gone with the Scottish, Sione Tuipulotu and Hugh Jones, mainly for the connection they would have with Finn Russell. Okay? When it comes to the out and out picking them between the Irish centre pairing in Aki and Ringrose, there's not much between them. Yes, some people will say defense, like Aki and Ringrose defend a hell of a lot better. I wouldn't say they defend that much better to warrant a selection over Tuipulotu and Hugh Jones. What Tuipulotu and Hugh Jones bring in the form of chemistry and how they play off the back of each other, those little short balls from Tuipulotu or the out the back, Hugh Jones's lines he runs. And yes, while I'm saying that, like Ringrose really played well and Aki played well versus Brumbies last week. It's a tough one, but I've gone with that mainly because of the connection they would have with Finn Russell. Again, if you would pick otherwise, let me know in the comments why. Don't just say you would pick other guys. Why would you pick the other guys? Then my back three, I've got James Lowe, Tommy Freeman, Hugo Keenan. So Hugo Keenan comes in, he's starting because the other guys are all under injury clouds. You've had Elliot Daly go home. Blair Kinghorn went off injured. I don't know if he's right or if he's back to play. So I've got Hugo Keenan in there. But in saying that, he's still safe as houses, quality at fullback. And you know exactly what you're getting from him there. Then I've gone with James Lowe, the left boot. Man, it's so helpful for them. It's so helpful when exiting. You've got a big right boot from Finn Russell. To have a left boot helps so much because of the angles on the field where the pressure is coming from for a charge down. If you have a left boot, it just helps that a lot. He does still get through a lot of work. I do like when he comes off his wing to then be an extra player to create overlaps, running from depth. And he's pretty strong when running the ball. Not your fastest winger, but they don't use him necessarily in that. He can still finish. He does still finish really well when gets opportunities. Tommy Freeman been outstanding. Probably one of the better wingers on tour. Look, Duan van der Merwe, there's a case there for him as well. And obviously Mac Hansen, he's been sensational. And if he does get picked, I won't have much pushback on that because when you talk about second efforts and work rate, Mac Hansen comes to mind, like one of the first that comes to mind. How I will make the 6-2 split work. So Alex Mitchell obviously covers 9. Then Marcus Smith, right? So Marcus Smith can cover 10 and fullback. If a center goes down, you move one of the other centers. So let's say Tui Polotu goes down. You can move Hugh Jones in. Tommy Freeman can play center. He can move in there. Then you can move Hugo Keenan to the wing and Marcus Smith can jump in at fullback. Again, that's clutching at straws. It's probably not going to happen. It's probably the South African in me that's like, yes, everyone runs a 6-2 split now. Probably not going to happen. They probably will have a Ringrose or a Bundy Aki on the bench as well. Or a Owen Farrell, who knows? I don't think that'll happen, but I think Marcus Smith definitely gets in there. Again, let me know in the comments what changes would you make, why you would make those changes. And I can't wait for it, man. First, the test is here. All of the other sideshows is done. The trials are done. The test is here. It's test week. Can't wait for it. There'll be a preview out later in the week. Hit those notifications. Hit that subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you next time. Bye.